Well, guys, you're looking at a face of disappointment right here. Let me show you. Not happy with the Nissan Quest. So let's talk about it. I went out there and the track was extremely muddy, very low traction. It wasn't really muddy. It was like a very slick clay. And I thought the dirt bike tires would do me good, but unfortunately, they didn't. They definitely didn't. And what happened? What happened was right there. Yeah, right there. We got a bumper to the rim, which actually folded the rim, which popped the tube, which lost the tire, which took away all my traction, and then I just got counted out because I couldn't move. We did one really big hit with the back of it. Unfortunately, I kind of slid across the ladies' driver door and hit the wall. Back kind of went down a bit. I did one not great, but half decent shot with the front end, and it doesn't seem to really move. Let's take a look at it. So here's that tire shot that I took. As you guys can see, the rim got completely folded around. So that's one of the disadvantages of running such a small tire, is the fact of the matter is when you do take a tire shot, it could fold the rim completely around. And you can kind of see the trajectory of his bumper because it's folded here and here. So good tire shot. But what it did was it actually bent the control arm and pushed all this back. The tie rod's a bit tweaked. The control arm needs to be replaced. But other than that, this van is still good. The one big shot to the wall basically took up all the rear seat compartment. So it's pretty much into the floor now. But if you take a look, all the floor is kind of starting to buckle and rip away. That is from me winching it on. It was very difficult to get on because of how wide these Nissan vehicles are. And as you can see daylight through the door. I don't think this thing's going to be the weapons I thought they were going to be, but who knows. As for the front frame, I hit a Toyota Sienna as hard as I could at the time. The Sienna has been through quite a bit of runs and it tweaked a bit, but this one here does not seem to tweak at all. There doesn't seem to be any dimples. I've inspected it all the way back. There doesn't seem to be any overall big amount of damage anywhere. It doesn't look to be any crumples, any crimples, nothing back here. So the front frame rails with a good bumper actually held its own. So once I was done, I just had loop lines. I turned the vehicle, well, I thought I turned it off. I turned off the fuel pump and I thought I turned it off, but I guess I didn't. And it sat there running the rest of the Derby and never overheated. And it still fires up really good right now. So as far as I'm concerned, the engine kind of passed the loop line kit test. And yeah, a lot of people were laughing with how open the front of the van was, but got taken out for a simple tire shot. So the Killdozer will run again. And yeah, it's just a little disappointing with how bad the back end came in, but it was the rotted one. If the front end of this thing turns out to be some kind of weapon that is indestructible and aggressive, maybe we will build the other one. But as of right now, it does not look like we're going to be building any more Nissan Quests after this one, because I just don't think they hold up to the Siennas in the way that they need to. I think Siennas are still going to rule the Derby world and the vans around me, but it was worth trying this weird oddball one. So she'll Derby again, just needs a control arm. Good thing that we have a control arm back there on that one. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll have to get this thing fixed within the next couple of weeks and get her back into the Derby ring. Well, guys, as a little surprise, I'm going to throw this at the end of the Nissan Quest video. Eddie borrowed this Buick that I ran in List Tool for Barrie, and he was going to run Mini with us, but then he seen that full size only had 2 cars, and this kind of fit the wheelbase of full size, so he took this in full size, ran against a V6 what was that? V6 Magnum and a V8 Cadillac North Star. And he did the right thing. I told him to get some blocks of wood for my trailer and get one of the big heavy loaders to fold the back end down, and he did. He didn't use the front end, but what ended up taking him out was this fell off. It just fell off, and then he had basically no throttle response. But he listened to me, and that's something that says a lot. And he bent this back end down, and he used this back end so correctly in that demolition derby. And you know, H-bodies and like 80s GMs are really not known for their back ends. But he did this thing beautifully and perfect, and everything went so good back here that I'm actually impressed. He drove this thing pretty good. He took one heck of a shot there from that Cadillac, and then he got second. So good for him for doing as good as he did. And yeah, this thing here, it probably will run again, probably just out of like if I need to throw a car into a ring, or if one of my buddy needs a car just to get away for the weekend, then here you go, take the Butte and go. But he never popped a tire, he never did anything, so no, this thing's reliable. May not be fast, it may not be sweet, it may not be tough, but she's damn reliable. So congratulations, Eddie, on your second place on full size. It ran quite a long time for what I was thinking on just a loop line kit. So, and they had a tight loop line, oh my goodness. But she probably will run again. I might just throw something over top of the engine so it doesn't let all the water in, and then go from there. So yeah, the Buick was ran again, and it did pretty good for what it is, which is a pile of junk, but it did do pretty good. It ran and drove and turned and hit, and as best as you could assume for a piece of junk like this. But congratulations, Eddie.